Mm-hmm.
So
No, I do not.
I was listening to one of her 8 tracks. I knew Kirsten would. And I'm like 20 phone calls. This is not an exaggeration, like 20 phone calls
Eight
deep in
track. What
the
is
eight
this,
track.
1982?
1968 more like, but
Okay.
that's when the album I was listening to was released, I think 68 or 69, I don't know. But I'm like 20 calls in at this point because I'm calling a bunch of different places, and I call and it goes straight to voicemail, and I'm listening to Gianni in the background, and my voicemail message ended up coming out with a country accent, not like a thick country accent, but like an imperceptible country accent.
You
Like
know,
it was
you made
definitely some Texas there, and I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with me? Why did I do this?
Been hanging
you
out with
may
me too
you
much.
may do better in the market, in the Vegas market with a little bit of a drawl,
A little bit of
a
a twang. I know it was just
little
a
bit of
little
a
bit, but I was
twang.
like, and I was aware of it, and I was trying to make it stop, and it wouldn't stop. I was like, well, call me
I'm
back.
sorry, I
Call me
can't
back. I'd
help
really
it.
appreciate that.
The
And then
kitty code switches.
Yep,
The kitty
exactly.
code switches Texan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, it's brilliant. Well, good morning, y'all. Um, Welcome to our morning live stream. And it is, okay, here we go. It is the 2nd of June. It's a Friday, and it is 11 a.m. here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And we welcome you to our morning live stream. I want to talk a little bit, and I need to bring up my thing here because we all know that this always happens. Okay, you kids vamp.
Vamp.
But yeah, I was like, I don't know why this happened. Oh, and then like a minute later, after I had hung up, I was like, oh, why did this happen? I was still listening to the 8 track, and then all of a sudden silence. And you know, when you're listening to an 8 track and then all of a sudden silence, that's not a good sign. And I didn't catch on because there's two kinds of silence when you're listening to the 8 track. There's the silence after a song on like one, like the second knob or whatever, the second track. And then there's it's like that silence between the second and third tracks. Right. And it maybe goes on for like 10 seconds at most. And then you'll hear a click that it moved on to the next track and or the next set of songs. And then there's the second kind of silence, which goes on for 10 plus seconds and it stays silent, and it's so easy to miss because you get used to the silences in between. But then the minute you know it's silent, you're like, I effed up. And I ran over and I looked at it, and sure shit, it was all unraveled, like completely unraveled, because it was like most 8 tracks are like held on by like this tiny adhesive holding the loop together. And when the loop comes off, it's like, the cassette tape stuff just completely out of the box, like all the way, or if there's like a tear in it or whatever, it just completely unravels on you. And I've had this happen to too many 8 tracks now. So it was a real bummer, but lost a good soldier.
Are you like, this is a dumb question. Are you able to like re-ravel it? Are you able to fix it?
Nope,
Or
I can't fix it. I tried with Fleetwood Mac Bare Trees, which is an almost dead album, meaning like nobody has it, nobody could find it, is super rare. And I had it on 8 track and it unraveled, and I tried for like days to fix it, and they're unfixable, completely unfixable once they unravel like that.
I'm sorry, Ricky.
Okay. I'm unraveling, but I can fix that.
I can fix that. Okay, Onion Sam.
Oh my God, I knew you were gonna say that.
I can fix that.
Yep. Bear, you are not audible. You're on mute.
I avoided 8 tracks. I avoided cassette tapes. I didn't want anything to do with tape. So Info Entertainment just commented on this thing, and I'm finished my 3 addiction. Yeah, I'm not understanding. Are you? I mean, you're really happy. I'm glad you're really happy. Are you? Are you in a program? Did you like finish 3 days of sobriety? I'm trying to understand what you mean.
Or
When I can
maybe
be happy for you.
it's a cool like video game, 3 addiction, and they
Could
just
be.
finished it.
Could be. Yeah. So, yeah, cassette tapes. eight tracks, they just never sounded good to me. And you know, they got they stretch and they wow and flutter, and yeah, I never wanted any part of that. You know, I went, you know, I went straight from vinyl records to CDs, and I like CDs. They sound good. They're consistent. They don't get scratched. They don't skip. You know, I was never, you know, I'm not one of those people who's going to, like, you know, go back to vinyl records. I did. Somebody was selling a complete collection of 50 Frank Zappa albums that he put out before he died, and I did buy those. I've got a box of those, all on vinyl, and I went and bought a vinyl record player to try and play
Just
them.
sold it to him.
And it's just like so fiddly when I can just, you know, stream this stuff. So yeah, it's like a collection thing more than anything else.
Okay, we got clarification from info. Let me throw it on here real quick.
Okay, yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Love that.
So proud of you. So happy for you. I too used to be a smoker, and I quit back in the 80s, and I started again in the 90s, and I had to quit again. And you know, I'll never start again. It's just, I mean, I enjoyed smoking. It was like meditative, contemplative, you know, but it's just really, really not worth it. So now I've been, I don't know, 10 years or so, you know, since, yeah, good for you. Very, very happy about that. Okay. So yesterday, Info Entertainment brought up this thing about trans women in sports. And I want to be really, really clear what I mean by trans women in sports. A trans woman is a, okay, I need to make a note of this. Just a second here.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Yeah. So a trans woman is someone who was born assigned male at birth is the technical term for you know, whatever reason that when the person was born, they decided the person was male and called him male, and probably has male genitalia, you know, may have a Y chromosome, you know, however they do that. I am not the expert on that, although I do read and I understand some of it, probably more than a lot of people. And at some point in this person's life, usually before or soon after puberty, this person decides to transition to female because they feel more at home in a female body. They identify as female and they want to present more as female. So they go through some type of transition, and usually it's just hormone therapy to slow down the or stop the puberty process of becoming more male. And again, not the expert, not a physician, not a biologist. So they've gone through some sort of transition and they have become female, at least to the extent as possible. And these people also want to play sports. They want to run, they want to jump, they want to do gymnastics, they want to do whatever. And so they join women's teams because a lot of sports are segregated between men and women because men tend to be bigger and stronger and women tend to be less so. Not always. And so this offends some people. Just the existence of trans people offends some people, oftentimes the same people. And so they're all mad because they think, or at least they say they think, because I don't think they actually believe this. They say they think that these trans women have an advantage over the non-trans women, whatever that means. and that it's a fairness issue. Well, it's not a fairness issue, and I'm just going to be really, really straight about this. Some people are better at sports than other people. Some people are bigger, some people are stronger. Some of those people are women, some of those people are men, some of those people are trans. Some trans women do win at sports in a women's league, and so a lot of these, like, people who otherwise have an issue with trans people are going to complain about that. But it's not a statistical advantage. Statistically, they are not advantaged, and there's some women who are not trans, and I like to point out Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of the last 100 years. Absolutely amazing, but she's also bigger and stronger than most women, and there is no denying that. And her serve, her serve was often competitive with men's serves. And it was, you got in her prime, especially if you got on the court against Serena Williams, you might as well not play because you weren't going to win. And lots of people, I mean, most of us, except a few people who didn't like the idea of black women playing tennis, and that's like a whole other thing. But I loved watching her play. She is just absolutely amazing. I would tune in to Wimbledon. I would get up at like 3 a.m. to tune into Wimbledon to watch her play. She was amazing, and she worked hard. And yeah, if the issue of fairness in women's sports is not about trans women, the issue of fairness in women's sports is about the coaches, about the officiates, about how they're paid. You got like the women's soccer team, which has more viewership in the U.S. than the men's soccer team, but they get paid 1/10 as much. That's unfair. The women who have to put up with male coaches and abusing them when they're children and taking advantage of them sexually, that's unfair. So you want to talk about fairness in women's sports, you're asking the wrong questions if you're talking about trans women. And that's what I got to say about that. Yes, please, Kitty.
I've got to go, but you made really excellent points, and I feel like trans women have to go through enough.
Yeah, that's got to be really hard on every level.
And it's kind of sexist too, because we don't see this with trans men in sports. It's only really a topic of discussion with trans women in sports, because men are perceived as so much stronger, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's what I'll say on that. I agree with what you said, and I will take my leave now, sir.
Okay. Good luck with all your endeavors today, and have a great day and a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
And
love
we
y'all.
love you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So that's what I had. Okay. So we have a comment now from Info Entertainment. I'm going to read it. Doing research on this topic as well, I can't say I agree with LGBTQ ideology or not, because it's my personal criteria to not make a solid opinion on any subject with insufficient knowledge. I applaud you for that. That is absolutely, you don't want to form an opinion on something that you don't know about. Me, growing up on the West Coast of California, I've met a lot of interesting people of all shapes and sizes and genders and everything. And as a working musician through the 70s and the early 80s, I played music with a lot of very interesting people. I say interesting rather than unusual or strange, because I find unusual and strange to just be interesting. I've got people even in my own family who don't identify as cis or straight, and so I probably have a lot more exposure to these issues and to this kind of information than you might have in other parts of the world that may be more conservative or more reserved about such things. So thanks for asking the question, Info, and if I may call you Info, and And thanks for your insightful response. That's really brilliant. So honestly, that's what I've got for today. I thought I had something else, and it's just escaping my attention right now. I do have family stuff like coming into my other ear here that I need to take care of. There's a thing that happens every time I go live. Everybody in the family starts sending me texts about all the things they need from me. And unfortunately, this is one that I can't really put off because I think it's kind of urgent. So I'm going to take care of that. So I will bid adieu. Y'all have a fabulous weekend. We will be back Monday morning, same bat time, same bat channel, 11 a.m. Right here, wherever you found us today, you'll find us then. Love you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.